This is a current summary of events within Libya for the past few days. In Tripoli, the people of Tripoli have overcome their initial shock and reorganized themselves and rebuilt communications, and thousands of armed volunteers and many more are still joining and have moved together to fight a guerrilla warfare that spans across all areas of the city. The Green Resistance is now in control of 80% of Tripoli and recently captured parts of the port, and it is constantly fighting in Green Square and Bab al-Zazia and many more areas of Tripoli. Constant explosions and firefights are heard across the entire city. The people refuse to be governed by the NTC, whom they consider to be Al-Qaeda terrorists imposed by NATO. The NTC rebels have left all their checkpoints as a result of heavy casualties they suffered from ambushes and car bombs. NTC mercenaries fear fighting and instead focus on looting and kidnapping women. Many corpses of NATO special forces and NTC mercenaries continue to remain on all sides of the streets, and NTC mercenaries continue their pillaging campaigns on the population. But the population of Tripoli has risen up successfully and is in control now of 80% of the city. Many tribes are moving towards Tripoli, and volunteers from across the Arab world and Africa are joining the Green Resistance to fight Al-Qaeda and NATO. In Bani Walid, NTC rebels have attempted countless attacks on Bani Walid. The rebels launched rockets and mortars into the city from long range. They never got close to the gate of the city, but they did kill civilians with long-range fire. NATO was carpet bombing, even using chemicals on the civilian city of Bani Walid, ceaselessly, 24/7. But they failed to break the spirit and resistance of the people of Bani Walid. NATO then decided to change tactics and deploy countless special forces that jumped into the city from planes, and they wore gas masks and were spraying chemicals around the city and trying to create a corridor for rebels to enter. The plan failed, NATO special forces were killed, and some 21 were arrested from different nationalities. The people of Bani Walid have defeated all rebel attempts. Recently, Green Resistance killed a top commander of NTC rebels, and hundreds of rebels have died. The Green Resistance have moved on to the offensive. They have pushed all rebels out of the entire area. Now people of Bani Walid are moving towards freeing people of Sirte and Tripoli from occupation. In Sabha, the people of Sabha have been bombed by NATO daily, and the civilian city has had extreme shortages of food and water for days. Just before the rebel invasion, Sabha was heavily bombed in all directions, and many apartments destroyed and many civilians died. The rebels entered eastern neighborhoods protected by NATO helicopters and NATO special forces. The people of Sabha took cover from NATO bombs, and then quickly forced the rebels out of the city and recaptured the airport and pushed the rebels out of the entire area. Green Resistance of Sabha has sent 3,000 volunteers to Ghadamès, 700 kilometers away. Green Resistance of Sabha has also sent a large reinforcement to Bani Walid. Sabha has gained the upper hand in the war against the NTC rebels. In Sirte, NATO jets and NATO warships have been pounding the city of Sirte daily and continuously without halt. 4,000 civilians have been slaughtered by NATO, and all hospitals and water tanks and electricity plants were targeted. People died of starvation, and 8 pregnant women died. The majority of civilians are still in the city, and all are resisting NATO and the rebels. NATO has used chemicals, especially white phosphorus, on Sirte. The people of Sirte continue to resist. The rebels cannot approach close to the city, but NATO continues to kill the civilians with constant airstrikes on all sides of the city. Recently, 2,500 NTC rebels were killed in a major battle that lasted 2 days. 3 commanders of the rebels were killed. Thousands of NTC rebel corpses are unburied, causing a massive stench around the city. In Misrata, rival brigades are killing each other in the center of the city over scarce ammunition. 5 brigades are fighting each other in the middle of Misrata. They are using heavy weapons and are destroying many of the civilian apartments and wreaking havoc around the city. Al-Qaeda brigades are also taking part in the fighting, as all brigades of Misrata start killing each other for weapons and a chance to eliminate rivals. Okay, Libyan general news. The tribes of Zawiya have captured 70% of their city and are fighting the NTC rebels. Half of Misrata is under green resistance control. The city of Zlitan has freed itself and is fully in green resistance control. The town of Tarhuna has freed itself and kicked all the NTC rebels out. There is heavy resistance in Garayan. Green resistance captured Hun and Wadan. Tribes of Zintan have signed peace agreements with neighboring tribes. In the east of Libya, the city of Derna have placed green flags on their buildings and defeated the NTC Al-Qaeda brigades and forced them out of their city. The city of Tobruk has removed the NTC rebels from their entire city and is being surrounded and shelled by NTC rebels for the last 10 days. The city of Baida has experienced gunfights between Green Resistance and NTC rebel forces. The Green Resistance is now in control of 4 neighborhoods of Benghazi.